Check it out, StEMedia.com if you want to register for our free 3-day event. It's going to be November the 19th through the 21st. November 19th to 21st. We're going to carve out our spot in the fall, y'all. So make sure y'all join us. And in fact, what's so dope, your female engineer. Good to see you, sis. Thanks for coming out. Our guest today was actually one of the most active, engaged, incredible people I had the pleasure of meeting last year during our first STEM Success Summit. And so I want to make sure that we give him a great welcome because he's going to come on and drop some jewels as it relates to his career of exploring forensic science in the Caribbean. Hey, if you're new to it right now, if you're just joining us, again, if you just joined us, give me an emoji in the chat one more time just to let me know how you feel as I get ready to bring on our guests. I want to know what kind of vibe we're approaching this evening. What kind of vibe do we have on the live, y'all? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a smiley face. Give me a wave. Thank you, Shannon, for the wave. Whatever it is, I want to make sure I want to get the vibes with y'all. I can't necessarily hear your voice. I can't give you like a nice social distance dap or hug, but give me a nice emoji just to let me know how you feeling this evening. And I will really, really appreciate that. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you click subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you comment below. Help us out with the algorithm so we can continue to get our dope STEM content, creative and inspirational content to as many people as possible. Teresa, good to see you. Sweet Pinicky, good to see you. All right, y'all just in time. All right, we got some Caribbean love in the building. All right, so without further ado, y'all, hailing from St. Kitts and Nevis, Ciaran was the first ever civilian crime scene investigator, aka CSI, hired by his country's police force. There, he acquired experience in everything from fingerprint examination to firearm and two-mark examination. And when the federal government commissioned its Forensic Evidence Recovery Laboratory in 2018, he was chosen to be its manager. Shout out to the Caribbean. We got St. Kitts and Nevis in the building. They are a twin island nation in the Caribbean. Ciaran has an incredible story. We're going to talk about his path becoming a forensic scientist and particularly how he is making it do what it do out there in the islands. So, without further ado, STEM for you, good to see you. Good to see you, Nikki. All right. I want to present to some and introduce to others. None other than my brother who I've been feeling really, really great vibes with for a solid year. None other than Mr. Ciaran Phillip. Y'all welcome him to STEMedia Live. Let's get the hearts going. Let's get the hearts going, y'all.
Oh, yes, there he is. Hey, give it up, people. Give it up, people. Hey, man, you see those hearts, bro? They're not stop right now for you, man. We got some
good vibes, man. Yeah, man. You
hey,
don't know.
Only good vibes here on STEMedia Live. Only good vibes. That's all we going
with. Live. You don't know.
Yes. Man, good vibes, man. Speaking of good vibes, this is the first time I got to speak to you face to face, brother. Of course, we've had a lot of good vibes, exchanging comments, the Success Summit last year, and we're going to get into all of that, man. But just thank you so much for being here, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Or as we say in the Caribbean, thanks for giving me a forward up on the thing. So respect.
Oh, I love it. A forward up in the thing.
Yeah, man.
There we go. Yeah, we got Ciaran Phillip, everybody. Make sure you get your questions ready. Make sure you can add to the conversation, whether on YouTube or here on Instagram, whatever it is. We definitely want to get your vibes going. But Ciaran, we ask a question to break the ice every week on STEMedia Live. And you may have heard this before because you've been vibing with us for a minute. And that is, give us something, an unexpected fun fact that someone watching this wouldn't expect to know about a Caribbean forensic scientist. So we can kick this thing off. Give us your fun fact.
Well, definitely for me, I think that it would surprise everybody that this guy who comes from an island where there's, luscious vegetation, does not eat fruits. I don't like fruits at all.
You don't like fruits?
No, man.
Not even a mango?
No.
I mean, you can't get down on a mango?
No. Just
Oh,
not
you
down with
serious
it.
too?
Yeah.
You for real, for real? Yo, Kira,
Yeah,
how did this come about? How did this come to be? Because I'm pretty sure before you even were aware what fruits were, people were probably trying to slip some of your food, mashing it up and giving it to you. Like, when did this revelation come to be?
I had the classic parents, eat your fruits and vegetables. So, I was always, not so into it. And I actually came around to veggies, but I never came around to fruits. It's just the textures, the smells. It's never been my thing. So,
What? Oh, man, bro, I might have to, I'm not in position to say this, but Trisha just said, you can't be from the islands like that, man. You can't be from... Trisha, he might have to give me his island card. You know what I'm saying? I've been looking for one. Bro. You might have to give me yours, Kira. I might have to get your island card, at least for a little bit. You might have to loan it to me for a little bit.
Yeah,
but that's interesting. All right, let me ask you this, though. If you absolutely had to eat a fruit, I mean, like life or death, someone said, you have to eat a fruit right now. I know you don't rock with them, if you got to eat a fruit right now, what would be that one fruit that you'd be like, all right, if I absolutely had to, I'll rock with this one? What would that one be?
Well, maybe bananas. Maybe
banana.
Exceptional.
Okay.
So maybe you could get me to eat.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, shout out to the wifey. I know she's on here supporting you. Banana fritters, we might have to check that out sometime.
Oh, man. You need to. It's a must. You haven't lived.
It's a must.
Yeah.
I dig it. So what's your favorite food then? I mean, like, since it's not like fruit and you say you just came around the vegetables, are you just a meatitarian? Like
pretty much.
What we going with?
Pretty much. I think, I'm really been longing for some good jerk chicken because I haven't had that in a long time. But I mean, I like food. I'm a food guy. I eat all meat, everything. Jerk pork is also a favorite of mine. So, maybe Teresa could give me back my Caribbean card for that one.
There you go. Yeah, definitely. If you got the jerk in there, yeah, no doubt. Yeah. We got some folks on YouTube also responding, man. I think as a person, again, we advertise from the Caribbean. For you to hit us with that was a great thing, a great random fun fact for you to bring out for us, bro. So thank you for letting us into your world with that one.
No problem.
Yeah, man. So let's go back to the very beginning, man. St. Kitts and Nevis, right? First of all, man, I've always been sort of intrigued by the fact that some countries are literally the name of two islands. Like, I used to always hear it when I was younger. I was like, why does this country have two names? But they're twin islands, right? St. Kitts and Nevis. What can you tell us a little bit about your family's lineage from there, or the early days of Ciaran in that country?
Okay, well, St. Kitts and Nevis were actually colonized by the UK, the United Kingdom, way back when I really can't remember, in the 1600s. So it was always administered as, two islands, basically one state, one colony. And so you've always had this mixture of people who have lived in both islands. And it actually turns out that my father, his family was actually based in Nevis, but my mother, her family is primarily from St. Kitts. Yeah, well, my father would also say that my mother's family actually came from slave owners, and his family were actually enslaved people. So, these things happen.
Wow.
So, my father and my mother grew up all their lives on the island of St. Kitts, and I was born there, but it actually turns out that I traveled quite a lot in my life because of the work that my father did. So I've been to a lot of places.
What does your father do?
He's actually an Anglican priest. So how it works is that he would move from different churches, different parishes across different islands, and actually ended up going to as far as the United Kingdom as well. We lived in England for some time, the city of Birmingham. So shout out to my people. Who's sleeping in Birmingham right now.
So with the people in St. Kitts, if you went back there and start kind of vibing out, people notice that you lived in the UK a little bit based on your accent? Because to me, people who are not from the island, we're like, oh yeah, that's definitely an accent.
but like, is that nuance already baked into you from the UK as well?
It is. Every time, I remember one time when I went home, I went to the bank and I was opening a new account, and you hear how I speak right now. I don't switch up. I bring my whole self every time. So I'm speaking, as I would to anybody else. And this lady who was a bank teller, she was like, "Where you from? You're not from St. Kitts." I was like, but yes, I am. Like, here are my documents to prove that I'm born in St. Kitts just like you. She was like, "No, you're not from St. Kitts." Like, so they could definitely hear it in the voice. They see it in the face. I don't know. I just don't have it all. But yeah, man, definitely, I rep St. Kitts anywhere I go. So
no doubt.
That's just how it is.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tish. She's also joined us on YouTube. She said, "My home, excited to hear Ciaran." Shout out to Tish, that SKB accent.
Yes,
I dig it. Man, y'all, this is Ciaran, the Caribbean forensic scientist, is about to break that down in just a little bit. But first, how did you even get to that point? Y'all give him some hearts, of course, some love, as you hear him just really bringing his whole self. But I'm really interested, Ciaran, when did that island boy begin to get into, STEM and the sciences? Like, who was that first person that introduced that to you, and how did you discover that path, or just really that world?
Well, I'm really not sure how I came around to making this decision, but when I was around 4 years old, I told my mother I wanted to be a scientist, and she was all for it. She just, jumped right into it. My mother is actually a teacher, and so she had textbooks, about all sorts of different lab demos and all sorts of different experiments that you could do. So we would do, stuff in the backyard all the time. And we didn't have many TV channels when I was growing up. But I do remember having TLC. And TLC back in the day was like really, really into educational content.
Right. The learning
entertainment. Yeah. You remember. Yeah, man, that's right. Yep. So I remember watching TLC a lot. And I remember my mother always buying me books. I mean, she would take me to different places, just so I could really, get a handle or, wrap my head around being a scientist.
For sure. Yeah. So that was sort of the early thirst or hunger for learning. Shout out to moms for giving you that introduction.
Yeah,
but I heard like it was in high school when you started to learn about the world of forensic sciences. Is that correct?
Right.
High school. Okay. So give us a story about that, man. Like, forensic sciences, obviously, we got TV shows around it right now, and things like that. Of course, we've had phenomenal forensic science already represented on STEMedia. Of
course. Kelly
Knight. Yeah. Kelly Knight. Shout out to Kelly, the professor. But you got introduced to it by a teacher in high school, right?
Well, it actually turns out that when I went to high school, now this was in Birmingham, England. I was in year 9, or grade 9, or 9th grade.
Yeah.
So I was there, and I had a teacher. That was the first time that I was taking science, and it was separated. All the other times before that, it was just like integrated. So I was taking science, and it was chemistry, physics, biology. Had a very good chemistry teacher. I can't even remember her name though, but she was vibes. She was vibes, and she recognized that I had talent, and so she really made me feel good about knowing all the stuff that I knew and learning more. And it actually turns out that my father now, he really likes watching crime shows. Right. And it was around that time when I was in year 9 that the original CSI came out, at least in England. So I was watching the original CSI right next to my dad. And I would just be like, yep, that's me right there.
You saw yourself.
Yeah.
I love it.
I was gonna be using science to make people give people something good in real life, as opposed to just being like philosophical or conceptual. It was really gonna be hardcore applied science right in front of my face being done. So, I really gravitated towards that.
You was like trying to crack the code. Your pops was also watching it. You was like, I can do this for a living.
Exactly. Solve the mysteries.
I love it. I love it, man. Shout out. So check this out. Cynthia Gomez Martin. I don't know if that rings a bell.
My
Yes,
professor.
she says, okay, she says she remembers, so speaking of you, I remember that curious mind sitting in my physics class, undergraduate school, always curious, always exploring and wondering. I love it. So we have some firsthand accounts, some testimonies of Ciaran being a curious person, not just in high school, but through college, because I think you started college in the UK. You went to high school in the UK, you started college in the UK, right? Before
No,
transferring?
actually, so
Okay, tell me about your higher ed. Okay.
It's a very different system in
Okay.
like the British system. So I did complete high school in the United Kingdom. I went to what would be at a time, which is classically called sixth form. It's really just 2 years of what you could say is college education, but it's like 2 more years, it's just a little bit more advanced. We call it further education, not quite higher education. So I actually did.
I dig it.
I went to what you could say is a community college in St. Kitts, you know, when I finished high school. So I actually spent 3 years there. Should have spent 2 years, but interestingly enough, when I went to community college, had the vibes in mind. I had a full plan to be a forensic scientist. I was going to get a bachelor's degree in chemistry. Then I was going to get a master's degree A level, or at the time it had just been implemented, a CAPE, a Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Education, or Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination chemistry course. So I was like, that's what I need.
That's all I know. Yeah, okay. Sounds legit. That sounds legit. Okay,
so
no doubt.
We abbreviated as CAPE, and I took CAPE chemistry, and that first year kicked my behind so bad. It was ridiculous. It was terrible. I remember one of the tests that I took, I actually got 1 point out of a possible 35 points. And that was actually like the average for the whole class.
That's like a 3%, right? That's like a 3%.
It was terrible. We had some rough times.
Some rough times, and I can tell you, and y'all watching this, y'all can relate to that, right? Y'all gotta give me some hearts. Give me an amen. Give me I feel you, brother, because that's the thing, right?
Man.
Like that's one of the things, bro. If someone sees you, they read your bio, they don't realize, they may assume that you didn't have those type of experiences. But I love the fact that you shared that, because a single-digit score, you know what I mean? Like no one would imagine that a person can go from a single-digit score to, you know, to an advanced career and just an opportunity to do something so phenomenal that you're doing right now, man.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you got to pursue the dreams, because I basically gave up on my first year CAPE chemistry course. We had a cumulative examination at the end of the year, and I remember it was
community exam.
Cumulative.
Oh, cumulative. Okay, my fault. My bad.
Yeah, my fault.
I got you all together, everything.
You're right. So I remember it was in the morning, actually. It was actually split into 2 different papers, but I remember going to the one that was in the morning and looking at all my classmates studying, and I was like, you know, like, what? You guys really gonna try to do something in this exam? Like, I was over it. So I totally failed out my first year CAPE chemistry, and I was actually gonna look for a job, totally separate career now. And my dad was like, I mean, you say you want to do chemistry. Well, as he would say, you say you want to do the chemistry, so do the chemistry, you know. So I went back and I had to retake first year CAPE chemistry. So I actually spent another 2 years at my community college, and I basically aced CAPE chemistry in those 2 years. So yeah, you need to pursue your dreams. You know, never give up. Never give up.
Yeah, that's what you call it, bounce back. Y'all give them some hearts, give them some love, give them some applause. You getting some love on YouTube right now, youtube.com/STEMedia.
Appreciate it.
Instagram, y'all give them some hearts for that. Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah, no doubt. So community college, and then I understand that you went to, and I think it was Carissa told me this, the only HBCU outside of the mainland United States. That is UVI.
Yes, I did.
So
I went to UVI and I did my bachelor's degree in chemistry. Actually, because I had spent that time in community college, I actually got a whole bunch of transfer credits when I went to UVI. And I met Cynthia Gomez Martin right there.
Okay, that's right.
Teaching me physics. And I think Indira was there at the time.
Really?
So yeah, but she was in a different major, so I never had classes with Indira, but I do think she was there at the time. Yeah.
So check it out. You may not even know though that I know somebody else that told me they went to school at your UVI too.
Really?
Actually,
Okay.
a good friend of mine right.
She was in science as well. I think biology.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, yeah. Yeah, she
Yeah.
recently, in fact, I was able to attend her PhD graduate. She got a doctorate about a year ago.
Nice,
She's
nice.
also part of the STEMedia community. Also attended the
Yeah.
STEM Success Summit last
Respect.
year. And gonna be coming back. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
dope, man. We just one
Yeah.
big. It's a small STEM world,
Of
right?
course, of course, of
Yeah.
course. Particularly at UVA, the only
Yeah.
HBCU outside of the continental United States. Nice small
Yes.
school. I really appreciated the fact that we had so many Caribbean people, and we were
Yep.
in small classes and really got to know each other. And a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
opportunities, particularly if you're from the US, to
Right.
actually get scholarships to study STEM at UVA. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my plug for UVA. My alma
Hey, there
mater
you
can't
go.
say I don't rep them.
Hey, no doubt, man. Like I said before in other years, I've actually been to St. Croix. I've laid my
Yes.
eyes on the campus of UBI. One of my really good friends right now, shout out to Kurt. He's from St. Croix. One of my, he
Okay.
was actually the best man in my wedding, man. I didn't
Oh,
even think to mention that. The
vibes.
best man in my
Okay.
wedding was from
Cool.
St. Croix. And there's an additional fun fact about my connection to the island.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people like yourself, man, Indira, Teresa, and so many people come from the Caribbean. It is normal part of your story, I found, to to be in the island, but then to also come to what for you, it's like a whole new foreign land to the United States to go get your master's. Because I think you went
Indeed.
to what is it? You went to VCU. Was that when you
VCU.
went to
Yeah.
in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia? And then you also, did you spend some time in Canada, or we haven't gotten there yet?
Well, not yet. We
Now,
haven't gotten there yet.
we're gonna say it. So let's talk about that, man. Talk about the how you left and came to the United States and what's that like. And here's what I want to ask you though, specifically for that person who maybe they're in the States and they're considering leaving, or they may be outside in the Caribbean watching you now, but they're also kind of like trying to process what it takes to go about it. Walk us through just sort of the preparation, the mental preparation, and what you feel like what was necessary for you to fearlessly go after your dream, even though it meant leaving places of comfort.
Well, like I mentioned before, I really had lived in many different places because of the work that my father does. So,
Right.
I had always seen my parents, looking for the next professional opportunity and trying to level up. So, that was always my mindset, like I need to be here professionally. So I'm going to make the move there, geographically.
Yeah.
So that was always my vibes. When you're really looking at basically, going into a whole new culture, it's really important, I think, to know yourself. And like I had always come from a strong foundation. In my house, it's saying it's a Nevis all day. So I was really sure of my own identity. So I've never been swallowed up anywhere else, and I've always been ready to bring my full self because that's what I've been seeing in my own household. So, those two things, I think, that you want to make that next step. Don't be afraid to, move to that next on this planet and probably soon off the planet to find opportunities that will make you, be the best you. And, if you know yourself, then you'll never be, in trouble, no matter where in this world, in this universe, you may have to go.
Man, y'all gotta give us some love for that. Give us some snaps. Y'all gotta give me something. YouTube, y'all heard that.
Thanks a lot.
Y'all heard that. Y'all gotta give me some quotes in the comment because I want to hang on to these, man. Knowing who you are and then not being afraid to leave your comfort zone to go after something that can help you level up, go to the next level. That's really key, and that applies to a lot of aspects of life, I think. Not just geographically, but even within our own city and in own circles and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's real. Yeah, so we got the hearts coming. Thank you so much. Shout out again to your professor, Professor Gomez. But at VCU, I'm curious though, like, were you like super focused on school, or did you begin to kind of explore? Did you get involved in any extracurricular activities? Like, what were some of the other things, if any, that you began to learn about yourself and get involved in beyond just the academics?
Well, I actually had a hard time at VCU because
Okay.
I think I was trying to, I think I had something to prove, but I was going up opportunity, and got wrapped up in a lot of the negativity that you hear people talk about when they go to grad school. But in my second year of my master's degree, I really started to go to church more, and actually joined the VCU Episcopal Campus Ministry, and I would say that really saved, it saved me from really going further down a toxic path, and it really just helped me to really embrace the experiences and the people and the culture that I was around, and really like refocus and stop trying to be more than I needed to be for anybody else. So I joined VCU Episcopal Campus Ministry. We did a mission trip to Belize, where we actually helped to build. We actually did some work in a local school in Belize. San Ignacio, Belize. I'm really trying to remember the exact name, but it's not coming to me right now. We also did some dental work with some of San Ignacio as much as we could. The church that I was actually doing that with, that's Grace and Holy Trinity Church in Richmond. Fabulous church, really nice clergy, priest that really was, wanted to build that real relationship with me. And I met some friends there. Tom Catlantis, he's actually on the live.
Shout out to Tom. Thomas, I see you, Tom. Ram Nation. Ram Nation fam.
Yeah, so Thomas and me, we became good friends, and that was really one of the things that saved me as well. And I also sang on the choir at Grace and Holy Trinity Church.
So what were you, a bass tenor? What were we talking about?
I was a tenor.
Baritone?
I was a tenor.
You were a tenor? Okay.
Yeah. I remember the first rehearsal I went to with the Grace and Holy Trinity senior choir. They just hand me this folder, and it's like you turn the page, and it's a full page of Latin, and I was like, "What?" I was like, so I'm looking around at everybody else singing, and like I'm looking at these words.
You had to read the Latin and read the music at the same time, bro. That's next level intelligence.
Those words, it was terrible. So I had to really level up on that too. I had to do a lot of practice by myself. And I really tried to integrate with the choir community because they were very welcoming. So those were some of the things that really helped to broaden me out.
For sure. No, I think it's really big, man. Going back to identity, going back to your foundation, your faith. Your dad being a minister himself.
Exactly.
And all of that really helped to re-anchor you, re-center you, and help you to be really focused on just a purpose that's greater than some of the short-term thrills that we can sometimes get caught up in.
Right.
There's definitely no judgment to people who are still, in whatever place they are in life. But I think it's awesome that you mentioned that. Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. But, speaking of getting back on track, one of the things that we know about stories, right, with people, and y'all make sure y'all give him some heart, some love. If you got a question for him, make sure you get it ready because we're going to get into forensic science. But really quick, though, man, the journey is never linear. It's never straight up. You finished your master's degree. You got back on track. You did well, but you had trouble finding work where you wanted to, I guess, at the time, which was here in the States.
Yeah.
Right? So tell us about that transition, what, caused you to, I guess, go back to the island.
Well, it was an interesting time. I mean, this was 2013. Obama was the president, right? And we had a situation where we had a situation in the States where there was never a budget set. Like, I don't know if people would remember this. There was never a federal budget set. There was always legislation.
Continuing resolution. Yeah, I remember that. That's right. Unfortunately not uncommon. Yeah.
So most forensic science labs, they are state funded, right? And, you know, because you have state funding, you know, sometimes, you know, that spills over into some federal money. So, you know, everybody was being cautious around the time when I was looking for a job, because we had a government shutdown, because there was no more continuing resolution to say the federal government can spend X amount of money on Y, you know. So we had that issue, you know, and I mean, it was really difficult, because I think hiring processes for forensic science and forensic science labs, you know, I mean, inordinately long. I actually had one situation where I was actually went to live in Georgia, because I had a cousin.
ATL?
Yes.
ATL?
Yes, actually. I had a cousin who had a friend living in a suburb of ATL. So I went down there because I was interviewing for a job at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. So, you know, I went to round one of the interview, knocked that out the park. You know, we had to do a test, you know, passed that with flying colors. Had to get polygraphed, passed that. So, you know, I'm just waiting now for them to tell me,
You know what I mean? Like, actually about me killing it, right? Flawless,
So, I mean, but they
you're like, I got this in the bag.
Yeah, they never got
never
to.
came.
And one of the reasons might also be because I'm not from the country. So, you know, one of the problems, well, you know, one of the challenges, let me say, of being a Caribbean scientist. A major liability for the company. You know, I'm either going to have to sponsor you an H-1B visa, or I'm going to have to, you know, hide you here illegally. And it was never going to be a vibes like that, because I had employment authorization because of being a STEM student. I would be allowed to work, you know, a year and a half in the country, no problem. But, you know, it probably just was not that attractive for anybody.
And now, before you tell me before you tell all of us, y'all, before I ask him to tell us what happened next, what would you tell to a young Ciaran at this part of his journey, right? You know, here he is. He got out of his grabs. He's basically, you know, showing his technical competency. What would you say? Type in the comments right now, YouTube. Type in the comments, Instagram. What would you say to a young Ciaran? How would you encourage him, or what advice would you give? Whatever it is. It's like if you were him or you met him in this particular juncture, and you probably got people, Ciaran, that didn't know you there anyway. But what would you say to him? And then Ciaran, then after we kind of see what people would probably say to you, because again, like there's some people who could listen to the story in real time as it relates to their life, right?
True.
They're walking, they're perhaps in a place where they're like, yo, I check all the boxes. I meet the criteria, but you know, all right, God, where is it? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So what would y'all say to this young Ciaran? And I want Ciaran to then follow up, if you can, with just how, I guess, that end up working together still for the good in your own career path. But I'm interested. I got to see what one person say. Maybe you got some people hesitant to give their advice. But why don't you go ahead and tell us what happened next, Ciaran, after you. Now, let me just say this. Sometimes it's tough because you don't even know why. Because I heard you say maybe it was because I was a Caribbean scientist. Like, sometimes we don't even know why certain things didn't open up. Like, you know what I'm saying? You apply. Sometimes you just like, I wish I can get closure. I wish someone can at least tell me, oh, we spent, you know, like they can tell you exactly what it was.
Certainly.
But you of course were like trying to speculate. And Tom says he would have said, you know, be open to whatever comes your way and try everything. Tess said, what's for you is for you. No one can take it. I love it. I love it. Yes, no doubt. So tell us, what was for you at that point, Ciaran?
Well, I think, you know, if I could go back and tell myself anything, I would probably just tell myself, man, you know you are enough, you know. So you know you have it, you know. You worry not about you know what the other people are doing, because you know, I mean, it's true. It's a Saint Kitts saying, you know, as we would say in Saint Kitts, what for you, you know, what is for you is for you.
For you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start saying it like that. What for you. I dig it. I dig it. Yeah. No one can take it. That's
so
right.
What happened next was that, you know, I went home, and this is where, you know, you really get to forensic science in the Caribbean, because like when I went back to my island, they were very much interested in making this transition from, using police officer resources, just using people who had, long careers in the police force, basically, learning on the job how to deal with physical evidence. They wanted to make that transition to make it more like, a professional experience. Like you're going to bring somebody in, purpose built, in order to identify, collect, document, analyze, interpret physical evidence for you and take it all the way from crime scene to court. So, they were very much interested in making that transition, and I was just fortunate enough to be in the right place and have the right connections in order to get through. Yeah. Bro,
this was your dream since high school, though.
Exactly.
That's so crazy about it.
Yeah.
Like, you went back, it's like right at the right time, where like your preparation met that opportunity. Exactly. You know what I mean? And then boom, success. And so you were the first. You were a first. What was it again? You were the first
civilian CSI.
First civilian CSI in St. Kitts and Nevis. Y'all gotta give them some applause from that. Some hard. We're talking about Black history right here on STEMedia Live.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Tell me this though. Were you? I didn't study, chemistry in depth. I mean, I took my classes for forensics. All I know is what I know. Place where I know for me as an engineer, where it's like textbook knowledge, it's like, all right, if I get it wrong, I just go to the back of the book, or all right, I missed a few points. But when you're actually like starting to like make reports and like, conclude on certain evidence that could really affect the outcomes of real life cases, there had to be some sort of, I guess, I don't know, like at least a challenge or a little bit of pressure. Did you feel any of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely pressure because, like, you start to realize now, again, forensic science in this particular context, it's, really being managed by people who have a very law enforcement oriented background. So they want to make sure that, they could 100% say this is the individual who committed this particular act. And it's never been like that in forensic science. It really hasn't. I mean, maybe now that you have
probabilistic. Is it more probabilistic? Like we're like 68% sure that this is the person. Like,
it's better to say it's circumstantial because, like, for instance, now, you have two different types of evidence. You have circumstantial evidence. You have direct evidence. So, like, you find DNA on a bed sheet. And it turns out to be, usually it's one individual that lays in that bed sheet, but you find DNA from individual B. All you can really say is that individual B at some point in time before now came into contact with that bed sheet. You can't even say they were on the actual bed. So it's very circumstantial. Yeah. So you can't say, they went on the bed and they laid in wait until, the other individual came home. You could never really say that. All you could really say is that before this point in time, when the testing was done, individual B came into contact with this sheet. It could have been long before the crime was committed, or just shortly.
They could have just brushed it at the laundromat or something. Yeah, just like who knows, right? Possible. Okay.
Yeah. Right. With digital evidence now, because we have a lot of these things going around. You have cameras all over the place. You have phone cameras, so you could actually look at video footage and you might be able to identify people doing certain things. That's direct evidence. So you could 100% say, all right, Ciaran, Phillip, Nehemiah Mabry, they were on STEMedia Live, at this date and time. Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah. But, when you have, people basically telling you that, hey, that fingerprint means the guy did it, and you kind of have to say, well, it's definitely his fingerprint. I can't say that he did it. I could definitely say that this fingerprint, I've excluded everybody else except this guy. So that's how it is. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, that's an interesting thing you point out, because I feel like, it's a phenomenal area of study that we have entertainment from with CSI, CSI Miami. All the different CSIs. NCI, right? It's crazy, right? But in entertainment, it always seems like they make it nice and neat. It's not so much they can like really add into it, because it could go on for long. At the end of the day, it's just an hour show. So what would you say is something that you may have experienced though. I'm asking you this way because I know I've asked Kelly similar questions, but what is something you may have experienced that you can't talk about that you were like, you know, this seems like it could be on a show, like flat out, like this right here could be an episode.
Man, well, it actually turns out that the first that that I mean was particularly gruesome. There's actually this couple, you know, a man and a lady. They were actually from a different island, but living in St. Kitts at the time. And you know, it turns out that this guy in the morning, you know, bright and early in the morning, walks to the police station, which is just across the road, like literally 12 feet across the road from the police station. He walks in there and he says, you know, I killed my girlfriend, you know. And he
just told himself?
And he had cuts and bruises all over. And so the police went into this house that he was in, and I mean, it was just a sight, you know, straight out of a fiction novel. So
I
know. You know, that was my first scene. I mean, it was, you know, I could see everything right now. You know, you're talking about every possible blood-stain pattern you could imagine, you know, like signs of struggle, you know, and, you know, the usual dead body.
Wow.
So, you know,
that and he confessed. Crazy. And he confessed, though.
Yes, he did. He
so,
did.
like,
and we got as much evidence as we could to make sure that if he ever recanted, you know, we'd just be able to rely on this, you know.
That's what I was going to. Yeah. Right. That's what I was going, because I was like, if my man, you see him blood all over him, he's already like, yo, I just took my girlfriend's life. Why do you even need to like get that evidence? Because it's like he just said it, like, hey, let's lock him up, let's throw the book at him. But you're saying that he could have later on be like, oh no, I didn't, or I just, you know, da 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 da. You all still need to go through the process and make sure that you know it was an open and shut case as far as you all could determine.
You know, I always tell people, like, you know, you're looking for the complete story, you know, like what you really want, you know, definitely from crime scene investigation, what you really want is to be able to, you know, talk about, you know, this was the beginning, this was the ending, this is everything in between. You know, you really want to be able to present that so that, you know, you have the complete story. You don't want it to have any gaps, because if you go to court and there's just one gap, even if it's a small gap, even if it's like, you know, well, what happened between, you know, 9:30 and 9:40? You know, I have absolutely no idea. You'd never want to be in that position. You know, you want to be able to say, well, according to what we have between that time and that time, this is what would have taken place. So you want to have the complete story to give to your jurors when it comes to court.
For sure.
You know, and then he could always, of course, appeal, because he was actually convicted for that offense. So he could always come up with an appeal. And you want to be able to, you know, show him when he comes for his appeal that, man, this is the evidence that we have. You know, we don't have to hide anything. This is our full and complete story. So, you know, this is what we're going to come at you with. And, you know, you never know. You know, I think we did a really good job. So hopefully he won't appeal.
First case.
But if he had to, you know, that was my first murder case, not my first
murder case, man. Shout out to YouTube. If y'all watching this on YouTube, welcome to STEMedia. This is Ciaran, the Caribbean forensic scientist, giving us a little bit about his early days in the St. Kitts, island of St. Kitts, working as a forensic scientist. I think it's funny. Teresa made a joke. Kiki Lynn, shout out to, they all laughed and they said, man, you don't even eat fruit. How can you deal with all the blood, bro? If you don't like the smell of fruit, how you gonna deal with the smell of, you know what I mean, insides?
I really don't know. I mean, I've always looked at it as, you know, this is just where I want to be. And like, it's very easy, you know, I mean, unfortunately, you know, I really don't like saying it this way, but it is very easy to just switch it off when you don't know the person. You know, like, you know, I've seen, you know, a fair number of dead bodies now, but I remember, like, my grandmother died when I was in UVI, actually, you know, and I never looked at my grandmother's body. You know, it just, you know, freaks me out, definitely. So if it's somebody that I know,
there was a relationship there, If
it's somebody that I know, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? If it's for work and I don't know you, I think it's okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting, man. Well, tell me this, man. Y'all, Ciaran, give us some love, man. He's giving us the deets, the difference between practicing forensic sciences in a small country in islands of St. Kitts, Nevis, or any Caribbean island versus a place like here in the States? How do you think they compare to each other?
Yeah, thank you for that question, man. I'm glad that you asked that question. I actually have a contact of mine. We were having this conversation on LinkedIn because in the Caribbean, you definitely need to have a lot of experience in many different areas. Or maybe you just need to have a little bit of experience in a lot of different areas. So forensic science or the forensic sciences encompasses a whole lot of disciplines. Like, I mean, I was fortunate because, like I said in the bio, fingerprints all the way to firearm and toolmark examination. If you're in the islands, you need to know a little bit about a lot of stuff. And you need to actually be able to do a little bit across a lot of stuff. In the States, you could probably settle down and be like, I'm going to be a CSI, and I'm going to be able to work, 20 years as a CSI. I'm going to be able to get certified right up to, crime scene analyst, super analyst level in crime scene investigation. But, you would never be able to, say to yourself, well, I want to do CSI, I want to do firearms and toolmax, I want to do drugs, I want to do fingerprints, I want to do chemical treatments, I want to do trace.
There you go.
I had to do all of that.
I'm reading your bio, man. It says a crime scene investigator, crime scene manager. Right. You're a trainee firearms, tool and marks examiner, fingerprint examiner, a laboratory officer, laboratory man. Like, bro, you had you had like so many jobs in this energy. So because tell me why. Why is it like that there in the Caribbean?
You have very few people who have this extremely specialized job, and you want to really keep it so that you have the integrity about how you're doing your investigations for the purpose of justice. So you have probably on the like in St. Kitts and Nevis, you have 15 people. For a population, not a big population of 50,000 people, two different geographical areas, but that's 15 people. So imagine 15 people having to handle every single type of case that you could possibly throw at them. So, it really is like that. I mean, there's some places in the States, similar population, 50,000 people. You hit them with 50 people in a department to serve 50,000. There's a big difference between 50 and 15. So
15.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, you're right. Now that makes sense. There's just more people available here in the States, or you can just go to a neighboring state, like, come over here and help us. It's not possible. As simple. I guess in the Caribbean. Yeah. Y'all give them some hearts, man. That's great. You definitely give me perspective. That's something I didn't think of as it relates. So that is very apropos to our topic, man, exploring Caribbean science, or forensic science in the Caribbean. You have these dynamics. So awesome, man. Y'all give some hearts. Definitely, we're coming down towards the end here, man. But bring us to the day. Where are you now? Bring us to where you are now. What are you doing now? What's happening in 2020 with Ciaran and Phillip?
All right. So in 2018, I became the first manager of the Forensic Evidence Recovery Laboratory that was commissioned in St. Kitts. It's first ever of its kind on my island. So I spent, print of somebody who we believe was involved in the murder of a police sergeant. So, we had some good success in my early days, and I was really thinking to myself, man, how far can I go? And I really wanted to, really get down into, using all of my competencies in the lab. And I really wasn't able to do that in my small island. So I decided that I was going to make another big move. So, right now I'm in Toronto, Canada, really, yeah, definitely, really searching for a full-time position where I can get back in the lab and really dive deep into science communication, statistical analysis, get back into chemistry, really dive deep into that. So, searching still, in the meantime, what I do is that I run a consulting company, Shore Science Consulting. So, I do what I've always done, I think, what I do is I use scientific methods to help non-scientific people find answers to complex questions, complex questions about justice, things about, quality management, profitability, efficiency. So I help people answer those questions by using scientific methods, and hopefully they make better decisions because I give them accurate and reliable information.
Yes, for sure, man. Yeah. Because those skill sets transfer, as you just kind of pointed out, man.
They do.
It's not just one industry. Once you be able to reason, use logic, like you said, use as objective as possible information to not be able to analyze reliable information, you're able to make better decisions. You aren't too swayed about the politics or the emotions.
Exactly.
All of that we're dealing with right now.
Exactly.
In the U.S.
Exactly.
So that's big, man. Y'all give us some love, man. Somebody get a CSI job. We might have to get you on a CSI episode. CSI St. Kitts. I think somebody said in the chat. No doubt. CSI Caribbean. Man, CSI Caribbean will be a dope series.
Yeah. I really think that's somewhere in the future, you're gonna have people really looking to capitalize on the fact that it is flashy and it does have entertainment value. To have a television series focusing on these people in the Caribbean, doing the same hardcore applied science that you see being done anywhere else in the world.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you opened my mind, man. I must say, STEMedia, that's the essence of what we're trying to do, create what we are doing, providing creative and inspirational content, education, inspirational, edutainment content. Yeah, absolutely. To inspire, elevate and inspire the STEM community, particularly for people of color, man, such as yourself in the Caribbean, across Canada, North America, and just across the globe. So, man, I just appreciate your representation, brother. And I have to get there. I have to get back to the STEM Success Summit, man, because that's where we connected. That's where, I remember last year, it was our very first. Shout out to everybody that attended STEM Success Summit.
Yeah, man.
Y'all, I'm going to ask you this question, Ciaran. If y'all are watching this, listen to my man, because he was one of the people that I remember when Kelly did being involved. You even followed. I remember connecting on LinkedIn and everything after that, man. But tell us, what did the STEM Success? I'm gonna go ahead and get a live testimonial from you, bro. What was the STEM Success Summit? Why was it a great summit in your opinion? And why do you think more people should right now sign up to attend this year's along with you and I?
Man, the STEM Success Summit was so ahead of the curve. People would not understand back in 2019 November when I actually logged on. I was like, virtual summit. I might as well, I was just at home chilling. So I was like, I might as well. But there had never been a virtual summit before. Really surprised that in the organizing committee, in the team, you could see every underrepresented group. You had Hispanic, you had women, you had Black people, you had PhD level people, you had entrepreneurs. You had everything. And I felt so seen. I felt like I was looking at my reflection when I looked at people like you and Mr. Fascinate. So, other than that, every single presentation was so tailored to people who were in, my particular situation. I had been there, coming out of university, really looking forward to making a big step career. Speaking about things like that, and I remember, particularly from my career, Kelly Knight has always been a big time influencer for me on social media as a Black woman forensic scientist. So, when you see all of that, the ability to go virtual, number one, the ability to actually, use people from underrepresented groups to actually organize and execute an idea like this. And then, to really have those tailored sessions, looking direct to make sure that, we step up and level up, as people who have been marginalized in STEM. It was everything. It changed my mindset, and it definitely made me want to go out there and network with my fellow fellow successful people in STEM.
There we go.
So,
There we go. Hey, man, I'm going to have to boost this. I'm going to have to clip this up. Use it for an ad, man. I'm going to have to put some
You should.
You know what I mean? I'm
You know,
serious. I'm
I've been
serious,
giving you
man.
gold, man.
Hey, you giving it to
I've
us,
been
right,
giving
y'all?
you.
So y'all, if you are watching this on YouTube and you're watching this on Instagram and you have not registered for the free STEM Success Summit at STEMSuccessSummit.com, you heard the man. You heard Ciaran. You're missing out on all that. We're doing, as DJ Khaled says, another one. You know what I mean? Another one. You know what I mean? So, yeah, make sure y'all join us. We're gonna be doing that, man. Ciaran, I really appreciate that first-hand account. I didn't pay you to say that. You said it on your own accord. Yes. So thank you so much, bro. Shout out to the team that's organizing it. We're gonna do it again.
Respect the team.
But go ahead and tell us, man, before we get out of here. You know, give us a little just how we can keep in touch with you, people who want to follow you individually in your journey, and then leave us with some parting words of wisdom before we say goodbye.
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's www.linkedin.com/in/CF Phillip. C as in cat, F as in frog, Phillip with 2 L's, no S. And you can find me on Facebook as well, CF Phillip. You know, active on Instagram, not as active as I used to be. ras_science, because you don't know. So
I always wonder why you had that. Okay.
Yeah. So,
RAS_science. Right. Y'all follow this man. Follow this brother. Yep.
You know, I mean, don't, you know, that opportunity that you're looking for, you know, level up for it, you know. Don't be afraid, you know, to move somewhere professionally by moving somewhere else geographically.
Those are your words of wisdom. I got you. Don't be afraid. Yes, no, that's great, man. And before we get out of here, I just want to affirm you. I want to thank you for taking the time to be on STEMedia Live. Man, you are absolutely someone, like so many people I've met, you know, virtually, that I feel like there's just a kindred spirit, man. Like I feel like we grew up together.
For sure.
We would have kicked it back in the day. You know what I mean? And I just appreciate the vibes you bring to the STEM community, to the STEM Media Network, to the STEM Success Summit that is yet to come again. Everybody, please join me. Give me some hearts. Give some love.
Much
as you
appreciated,
man, Ciaran, for taking this time on STEMedia Live. Brother, all the best to you. And if there's anything I can do to support, you know I'm here. And this is just another interaction, man. And a continual relationship and friendship, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know what I mean? Thanks for allowing me to bring my full self. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Sometimes I really feel like the imposter syndrome is just endemic in the Black STEM community, because I always feel like, you know, I'm not out there doing much, but, you know, I have a story to tell, and I'm really happy that you invited me, you know, to talk a little bit about my story and, you know, about the vibes that I've been through as a forensic scientist in the Caribbean. You know, Black STEM professionals, I feel like we have a lot more to say to these conversations. So thanks a lot for bringing me on, for giving me the forward.
Right on, brother.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Right on. Right. You have a great one, man. And I'll talk to you soon. Talk to you soon, Ciaran.
Definitely. Thanks a lot.
All right, brother. Take care. Peace. All right, family. Y'all, thank you so much for joining me on STEMedia Live. Listen, this has been a great time. Don't forget to register at STEMSuccessSummit.com. We are going to be going live in 3 weeks. It's going to be great. Of course, we can have another great interview next Sunday, same time.